I didn't like the factory bumper. It's actually rather scale. This is how the actual truck's bumper is, but I decided to up it a little bit. I liked a little more detail. So this is a quick resin print. This is an early prototype FDM, and you can actually get them to look really good. In fact, this was printed on the Ender 3. Came out really good. Printed it like that. Now, I know earlier we left off with me saying, let's drive this, but as you can tell, something has happened. Yes, I've painted it. Also, I've made these lights work, and I made that light work, and I made a bumper. Also, I made these wheels, and then I ordered this 2-speed gearbox, metal drive shafts. So basically, I've completely ruined this review, as usual. So what we're going to do now is install all these parts, because if you want to see a nice normal review, you can find somebody competent. If you want a terrible review where I ignore everything and build it the way I want, well, my friends, you're here. All the modifications are complete except for one. I snagged these lights on WPL's website. These are the ones that are commonly used on the D-Series vans and K-trucks. I discovered that on this PCB, we have lots of lighting options, so that's what we're going to take a look at. All right, so take the one screw out of the PCB, which holds it in place kind of precariously, not in love with that. Obviously, the 2-speed here is installed, and that middle port is where the shift servo will plug into, so that went in there. All right, now flipping this over, we're going to take a battery, plug it in, because I don't know where any of this stuff goes. Turn the remote on, turn the car on. All right, car is on. So here are our turn signals. So you see on the back, it's showing where the solder points are. LED 1, LED 3, LED 4, LED 5, LED 2. One of these is the headlights. Are the headlights even, where are the headlights? Oh, they're right here. So let's try plugging in here. I really should unplug the motor so it doesn't just drive off. Okay. Motor's unplugged. Let's see if that's a turn signal or what. Nope. Nope, there's a signal. Okay. So that is the right signal. LED 5 is the right turn signal. So it looks like, I don't know which one this is. LED 3. I think that's the reverse lights. Okay. LED 1 is the left signal. So I think this is going to be reverse lights. Let's try that. Is that white? Yeah. Let's check out LED 4. And one of these is the headlight. So this last one's going to be either the headlights or the tail lights. That's headlights. Okay. Now, it's hard to tell on camera, but they are dimmer. So this is going to be driving, rear lights, and yes, brake lights. So drive, brake, let go, and it should reverse. You see that? So drive, brake, reverse. Fantastic. That one is LED 2, LED 4 is the headlights. And now take all of this wiring and put it there somehow. That's on. It was terrible. I made this storage unit. You'll see it better when it's on the vehicle. Ignore this because I've actually got it on backwards right now. These two clips go right here, and these two clips back there tuck under this. Again, it's sitting on there backwards, but effectively you get the little LEDs right there. And then when this is installed, you'll have a place for stuff, and then your spare tire is still there. Wiring has been routed, and the side markers are a little bit weird, but I think I can get them in here. So I'm going to route the battery cable into the engine bay so that we can plug it in, and then I think we're set. I think the truck is done and ready for a final drive. Funny story, this is technically a review video. And what I've effectively done is ruined everything about this review because I've significantly customized it. It has a 2-speed transmission. We've got the light kit on it. I've added extra lights. I got the AMPro bumper, AMPro wheels, some sort of storage container here. And yeah, so we're going to pretend that this is a completely normal review and take this for a drive. But before we do that, let's see what we've done. So in the front, you can see we've got our left and right signals. We've got this series of lights underneath here. I went with these ultra white lights because I was out of warm whites. Simple as that. Got this here spotlight, which really came out cool. The roof lights came out real nice. The lights that were here I cut off because it wasn't gonna, I just didn't think it was gonna work out very well because it's going through 2 different pieces of plastic, and then I would rather have the side light here anyway. I adore these wheels, absolutely love the wheels. This now can allow me to drive this truck and have a whole bunch of batteries stored back in there, so I think that's kind of cool. And then we've got the brake, reverse, and signal lights here at the back. And again, that was just a D-series light kit, and it just plugs straight in there. So I'm extremely happy with how this came out, but I think finally we need to take it for a drive with the trailer and the E1. Okay, drive away. Now do it. Prior to even beginning the wrap up, I do have to apologize to everyone for kind of a terrible review, right? I ran this vehicle with a 2-speed transmission, completely ignoring that this thing out of the box comes with a single-speed transmission. Fact of the matter is, there's a lot of people that have done reviews on this vehicle where it's box stock, so it's pretty easy to see how the vehicle runs out of the box. Here's what I'd like to say about the overall impressions about the full vehicle, the way it comes out of the box, and what's kind of happened to it. First things first, I love the entire concept of having this truck and trailer in such a small form factor. It's quite common to find smaller versions of a truck and trailer and larger versions, but I think this 1/16 scale is, now again, I say 1/16 scale, I don't know what the actual full-size truck's scale is, but the form factor is what they're calling 1/16, and it's a very manageable size. The overall vehicle is, it's not very large. I did drag this trailer with me on a small vacation that the family and I had, and it's pretty nice and tiny and easy to shove in some weird area in the car without anybody really noticing. The overall look and feel of the truck is quite good. The front half of this vehicle is not new to WPL. The majority of the chassis is not new. However, the gearbox that it did come with was first seen on the C24-1 RTR, and it is a good transmission. The red Toyota that you saw in the video actually has that transmission. However, I did upgrade the motor, make it a bit larger because I found them to be a little underpowered, and I expected this vehicle to obviously be the exact same way. From what I've seen in other reviews, people are already saying that the factory motor is underpowered, but again, you are targeting a particular price point as well as a particular hobbyist level that they're trying to get at. I do believe that a 2-speed transmission is quite critical on this vehicle, especially if you're going to overload this trailer. I have seen a number of YouTubers also try and add 300 tons to the trailer. Now, while the motor seems to be able to pull it, it does dramatically shorten the life of the motor, and I don't really like that. I do kind of want my vehicles to run quite a bit longer. Most of the crawling that you saw this vehicle doing was done in first gear. However, the higher speed driving that you saw toward the end was done in second gear. I also did not really drive this vehicle off-road with the trailer because it's not particularly conducive to that. Perhaps if you've got a hard dirt surface that would work, but I don't see this thing working at all on any kind of off-road surface. It simply is not designed for that. Although it does have reasonable ground clearance of perhaps 25 millimeters, it's still quite low, so I wouldn't consider the combo an off-road vehicle. I would consider it perhaps more of a paved off-road vehicle where it's performed quite well. I think overall it's quite nicely put together. Again, it's very simple. It's very inexpensive. The electronics on these vehicles I've always found more than adequate. especially given the fact that this does have the working ramps over here, all the built-in functionality to add the 2-speed, as well as all the electronics functionality for the taillights. That was a really nice surprise. Of course, I did add all the other lighting. These were all just kind of modified. Anybody that is interested in these aftermarket parts that I've designed, there is a link in the description to my mini factory. I also never mentioned to anyone that I made these little fender covers. Again, these are really simple FDM prints. These are Ender 3 high detail prints, printed in this orientation here, and they actually slide right over this little bulkhead that is pressed on. And there's no glue. They're just kind of stuck on there, and you can kind of see they're not really glued in. They just sit nicely. These are PLA prints. Now, the real question is, do you want one? If you've always wanted a semi-truck, but the Tamiya semi-trucks are just kind of hard to justify, this is going to be your path forward. I think we are going to see absolutely breathtaking builds with this platform. People are going to start massively modifying this. I mean, even the fact that it's this much smaller will allow you to leverage significantly higher detail prints. I mean, you can probably print an entire SLA cab for this entire vehicle in one fell swoop. You can't do that with some of these larger RC cars. The trailer is a massive plus with this because, again, it's not something that you find commonly. And if you don't want to use the trailer, you've still got a reasonably capable off-road trail truck. I hesitate to say it's a rock crawler, although you saw it kind of going over some lighter terrain, but this is a leaf sprung truck, so I wouldn't go nuts with it. So you are kind of getting a 2-for-1 here, and for the price, it's pretty darn remarkable. Being a WPL, there's a ton of upgrades to this vehicle. The axles, again, are a little bit different to what they currently have on their 6x6 vehicles. However, if you did want to upgrade the axles, you can just get the full metal kit and it'll bolt right on. These, I showed a package in the video earlier. That was a little bit of a lie. I did order the 6x6 axles, and only to find out that there was a note on the WPL website saying that they don't fit. So this is actually for the rear of a JJRC Cube something or other. I always forget. So I think these are from the Land Cruiser. There'll be links in the description to where I got them from. Currently, I had to piece them together, but I'm sure WPL will end up making a metal drive shaft kit for these. All of my WPLs have metal drive shafts, and they're cheap and they're one and done. If you are considering buying this for a youngster, I hesitate to say no. I mean, I don't know what would be a bad idea about this. I mean, it's a heck of a ton of fun to drive. The power on this vehicle is appropriate for a smaller child. And unlike a lot of RC cars that you can buy, especially cheaper ones, everything is available on these vehicles and easy to fix. If you're looking for something super high-end, this isn't it. This is a very basic, functional RC car. I have many of these, and I absolutely adore these WPL vehicles, but they are on the lower cost side of things. Don't expect, full metal parts everywhere, although you can fully upgrade these over time. I don't plan on using this all that often with the E1. I suspect that I'm going to be using this quite a bit more often with my C24. Speaking of metal, this entire thing is metal, including metal gears in the gearbox, axles, links, all that, 3D printed wheels. Fantastic vehicle, again, and a 2-speed. This is not how I'm going to be driving this vehicle either. Obviously, I've got a number of cars, and unfortunately, I can't fit a second car here unless I make some sort of a modification. So let me just hint at the fact that you'll see a lot more of this vehicle coming up very soon. My friends, again, I do want to apologize for the peculiarity of this vehicle and my complete and utter inability to make a normal review. Nonetheless, I'll make it up to you in the future, I promise. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.